A very warm welcome to our session on tourism. Now, under this, we're going to speak about understanding the marketing environment. Having understood the concept of marketing environment, we can now attempt to comprehend the strategies of scanning and responding to changes caused by changing market scenario. The following topics shall be discussed in this episode. Number 1, marketing environment of e-business service. Number 2, concept of market and non-market environment of business and the difference between market and non-market environment. Number 3, we shall speak about understanding marketing environment through market scanning. Number 4, importance of micro and macro environment scanning. And the fifth one, we shall discuss about the responsive strategies. The case studies have been included which covers the marketing environment of a business and its successful responsive strategies. Let's move on to the first module, marketing environment of e-business service. E-commerce is gaining popularity in the contemporary context. The environment of e-commerce is as follows. Number 1, it consists of the micro environment, and number 2, the macro environment, just like any other business. Micro environment. So, let us get into each of the component in detail. Let us take up the micro environment. The micro environment of e-commerce consists of 4 components: suppliers, competitors, intermediaries and the customers. What about the macro environment? The macro environment of e-commerce consists of the following: international factors, country specific factors, technology related factors, society related factors. So, these are the 4 components which are a part of the macro environment of e-commerce. Now, what do we mean by international factors? The international factors in turn consist of 3 aspects. Number 1, the economic factors. Number 2, the legal restrictions or constraints. And number 3, the cultural factors. The next aspect is country specific factors. So, these factors are actually very similar to international factors. Then how are they different from the international factors? So, the difference is the country specific factors are covering the implication of the economic, legal, cultural factors in the context of specific country. So, what are the 3 things that we have said? Economic, legal and cultural factors. The next area is about the technology related factors. Now, these assume a lot of significance as e-businesses thrives on technology enabled systems. So, the main components of this are innovations and trends. Then we move on to the society related factors. Society related factors again consists of 3 aspects: public opinion, moral and ethnic constraints. Now, all these factors assume a lot of significance as they have a lot of implications in the operation of e-businesses or e-commerce, which has gained significance. Now, having seen all these factors, why are we concerned about it as far as e-business is concerned? So, let us try to explore the impact of these factors on e-businesses. Now, the micro environment. The micro environment consists of immediate players who are capable of influencing the business. So, scanning the micro environment helps in increasing the supply chain surplus. The next component was the macro environment. The macro environment of e-businesses refers to those factors which are capable of influencing the business from different dimensions. The changes in macro environment are capable of ushering changes in the micro environment also. So, a very deep analysis of the macro environment is required because it can bring in a lot of changes in the micro environment. the micro and the macro environment of e-business is what we see below. So let us try to understand this diagram in detail. Now in this we can observe a couple of icons, the suppliers which is been shown using the blue circles, then we have the competitors in violet ones which are square shaped, and then we have the triangular shaped ones which indicates the intermediaries, and then we have the customers. Now let us look into the factors. All the factors that we discussed here is what we can see, that is the international factors, the country specific factors, the society and the technology related factors, which are all a part of the macro environment. And then we can see that the micro environment consisting of the suppliers, competitors, intermediaries and customers. So on the basis of this, we can be very clear on the components of the micro environment and the macro environment as far as e-businesses are concerned. Now we have been having a very long talk on market and non-market environment of business. Now business environment basically consists of two components. One is the market environment and the second one is the non-market environment. Now the market environment consists of those players who have an immediate role to play in influencing the marketing capabilities of the firm, whereas the non-market environment constitutes the players or the factors capable of even influencing the market environment and other aspects of the business as a whole. The manager of the business gives importance to both these factors and needs to chalk out marketing and non-marketing strategies of the firm. Now whatever we have said, we will try to understand using this chart. So here we can observe the market and non-market environment of business. The market environment and the non-market environment, both the components are given to us, and we are able to make out very clearly that the market environment determines the significance of the non-market issues of the firm, and the non-market environment shapes the business opportunities in the marketplace. And we can also see that as far as the manager is concerned, he has to come out with market strategy as well as non-market strategies in order to combat with the changes in the market environment and the non-market environment. So now let's go into the details. The company's market and non-market environment. The players of marketing and non-marketing environment differs. The figure below represents both the non-market and the market environment. Let us try to understand the figure in detail. So in the center we have the company, and the company's market environment is the circle, the immediate circle which is given after the company represents the company's market environment. So there are three very important components: customers, competitors and suppliers. All these three components are capable of influencing the company's market environment, whereas the wider circle which has been marked out there, it shows the company's non-market environment. So in the company's non-market environment, we have the media, the regulators, governments, citizens, non-governmental organizations and the activists, which means that the company's non-market environment is wider than the company's market environment. Now the company needs to consider both the market and the non-market environment, as both can either contribute or hamper the profits of the organization. So the marketing environment consists of the following: the competitors. This can include even those who are producing the same or the substitute products. The second term with which we are very familiar, especially in the context of marketing, is the customer. Customers refer to those who are the actual buyer or the potential buyer for the products. So please don't think that the customer only refers to the actual buyers. We are also considering the potential buyers. Now, the third one is the suppliers. So, who are these suppliers? Suppliers are those who supply raw materials or semi-finished goods. Now, we had a very quick look at the non-marketing environment. So, let us once again revise the same. So, the non-marketing environment is wider than the marketing environment and it has many more players. So, who are these players? They are the regulators, media, governments, citizens, non-government organizations, activists and the media. So, now the question that comes to our mind is, what is the difference between marketing environment and non-marketing environment? So, let us try to look into these differences. Markets are institutions through which economic exchange is organized. Its operations are basically institutionalized, unlike non-market environment, which includes the public institutions which operate on the basis of public opinion. Market stakeholders are easy to define. That is, anyone who engages voluntarily in any economic transaction directly can be called as a market stakeholder. Non-market stakeholders are those who are not directly or voluntarily involved in business. For example, it is the government. The next point of difference is the non-marketing environment is wider in scope and it is capable of influencing the marketing activities and decisions in a more intense manner. The number of stakeholders is more and their involvement is often not evident as it is not voluntary or direct, unlike marketing environment. So, we can say that it is quite easy to understand the marketing environment in comparison to the non-marketing environment. Now, how can we understand the marketing environment? Marketing environment is thus capable of being influenced by external and internal factors. Therefore, understanding the marketing environment is required. Now, as we have understood the factors capable of influencing the marketing environment, let us try to understand the methods of understanding the marketing environment. Understanding the marketing environment refers to the process of analyzing or examining the forces that are likely to exert an influence on the marketing environment through environment scanning, anticipating the threats and opportunities for the business, and deciding on the responsive strategies to combat, overcome, or encash the threats and opportunities. Understanding the marketing environment is a very difficult task as the marketing environment is a dynamic and a complex one. In such circumstances, it becomes necessary for the marketers to make continuous attempt to understand the marketing environment and the changes in the overall business environment over different period of time. So then, is it possible to understand the market environment fully? Suppose if somebody asks us this question, the answer is a very big no, definitely no. So then, what can be done to understand it to a substantial extent? So, what are the different strategies that we can adopt to understand the marketing environment at least to a substantial extent? So, the first thing that can be done is environment scanning. The process of continuous monitoring and assimilating information on different events outside the organization with an intention of identifying and interpreting the existing trend or forecasting the trends which can lead to opportunities and threats is called environment scanning. Now, what do we mean by trends? I think it's a term that we've been repeatedly using. So, actually, what do we mean by the term trends? In this context, trends refer to the environmental trends, and the environmental trends typically arise from 5 different sources. They can be social, economic, technological, competitive or regulatory forces. Now let us try to understand this process with a very simple example. Around 85 to 90% of exports takes place through sea in the context of India. With the development of ports, mushrooming of many private ports, changes in maritime trade is expected, and the cargo management through sea is expected to increase. In the given circumstances, can we anticipate the future of seaborne trade or the trends in cargo movement through sea? On the basis of this analysis of trend, it is possible to anticipate that the ports, shipping companies, logistics companies are expected to grow further. Employment is also likely to increase. Predicting the exact trends might require the application of mathematical, statistical or econometric tools. Environment scanning also includes explaining these trends. Trends help in indicating the direction of changes. For the same example that we have cited above, we can give the following explanations to justify the trend. So now we have understood the concept of trend using the example. Now let us try to go further on and let us try to justify the trend that we have observed as far as cargo management and seaborne trade is concerned. So now how can we justify the trend? We can say that seaborne trade is ancient and had been very popular. As seaborne trade was not suitable for certain commodities and was very slow, other modes of transport began to gain popularity. Appropriateness of seaborne trade for all commodities, modernization of ports and ships has led to an increase in movement of cargo through sea. Environment scan is thus immensely useful in understanding the market environment. Now, having understood this, let us move on to the next tool for scanning the environment. This is popularly called as PEST analysis or the pest analysis. Sometimes pest analysis is also called as step analysis, STEP analysis. Macroeconomic factors are country specific and pest analysis needs to be performed specifically for different countries. Political, economic, social and technological factors of macroeconomic environment are considered for pest analysis. When we talk about the political factors, what are its components? Now, the political factors can include political stability, intellectual property protection, pricing regulations, taxation laws, industrial safety obligations and wage legislations. In order to do the economic analysis, the following components may be considered: type of economic system, exchange rate stability, efficiency of financial markets, labor cost, economic growth, business cycle phase, discretionary income, inflation rate, interest rate, monetary market system and its stability, and economic policies. So, having seen both this, now we need to dwell on the social analysis. So, now in order to perform the social analysis, what are the variables that needs to be considered? So, the most important variables are demographics, attitudes, education, culture, entrepreneurial abilities, class structure, prevalent in market and economy as such. Following technology related variables are to be considered: technology developments in the recent past, possibilities of technology adoption, cost of technology, sophistication possibilities on the existing products. PEST analysis considers the macroeconomic factors which are expected to increase even in the future and are in reality unlimited. So, the firm must prioritize and monitor only those which have an implication on their firm or industry as such. Sometimes PEST analysis may not provide accurate results, and for this purpose other information technology techniques are in place. Firms have also begun to adopt scenario planning techniques to deal with high level of uncertainty. PEST analysis has been extended to cover two more dimensions, legal and environmental, in which the factors influencing the legal and the environmental is considered, and this is termed as PESTLE analysis. So, the easy way to remember is PEST speaks about political, economic, social and technology, whereas PESTLE speaks about the same political, economic, social and technology plus legal and environmental factors. Now, this is supposed to be a very effective tool for market scanning. Now, we move on to the next and the most popular tool, which is called as SWOT analysis, SWOT. The SWOT analysis used to analyze the internal environment of business strength, weakness, opportunities and threats is considered for all the factors influencing the internal environment of business, and its impact on market environment is studied. The importance of the microenvironment scanning can be for understanding the microenvironment of business, which helps in responding effectively to macro environment changes, as microenvironment can be to a large extent predicted and controlled, while macro environment cannot. By strengthening the factors or the players in the micro environment, the challenges posed in the macro environment can be faced in a better way. All this sounds as Greek and Latin to us, so let us try to see by understanding by taking up an example. For example, effective scanning of the micro environment helped many of the software companies to reap profits despite the slowdown in software industry during the period of economic depression. Now, the second and the most important reason is the macroeconomic factors cannot be accurately predicted nor fully controlled by marketers, but a proactive approach, perfect market scanning systems can provide relief or at least reduce the impact of the threats on the business. Micro environment and macro environment are not watertight in nature. Inefficiency in the understanding of the micro environment can lead to severe lapses, and the macro environment changes can pose further challenges to the organization. Therefore, scanning of both micro and the macro environment needs to be done. After a thorough analysis of the marketing environment, the strategies for responding are adopted. So, the appropriate responding strategies can be adopted, and that also depends on a lot of factors. Changes in the marketing environment, implication of these changes in the environment has to be analyzed both in the short and in the long run. Objective of the firm, availability of the resources of the firm, existing product offering of the organization, existing marketing strategies of the firm, existing responsive strategies adopted by the firm, anticipation of the likely changes in the environment, responsive strategies of the other competitors operating in the market, existing market share of the products or the services offered by the organizations should also be known to us. Therefore, the same responsive strategies need not be necessarily adapted in all situations by an organization. The responsive strategies must be adopted after a thorough understanding of the changes, the opportunities and the threats passed on the market offering or the marketing environment, and the implication on the marketing environment must be done from all the discussions, implications construed both from short and long term perspective. Now, let us take a comprehensive and a very interesting case on marketing environment. All of us are familiar with Xerox. So, now this case is all about Xerox, and it's a very comprehensive case on marketing environment. Now, there are things which we know about Xerox and things which we don't know, which we will try to understand through this case. Xerox introduced the first plain paper office copier nearly 50 years ago. In the decades that followed, the company that invented photocopying flat out dominated the industry it had created. The name Xerox became almost generic for copying. In 1998, Xerox profits were growing at 20% a year and its stock price was simply soaring. Then things went terribly wrong for Xerox. The legendary company's stock and fortunes took a stomach-churning dive. In only 18 months, Xerox lost some 38 billion in market value. By mid-2001, its stock price had plunged from almost 70 in 1999 to under 5. I think it's unimaginable. The once dominant market leader found itself on the brink of bankruptcy. So what happened? Blame it on the change, or rather on the Xerox failure to adapt to its rapidly changing marketing environment, whatever it was. The world was quickly going digital, but Xerox hadn't kept up. In the new digital environment, Xerox customers no longer relied on the company's flagship products, standalone copiers, to share information and documents. Rather than pumping out and distributing stacks of black and white copies, they created digital documents and shared them electronically. Or they popped out copies on their nearby networked printer. On a broader level, while Xerox was busy perfecting copy machines, customers were looking for more sophisticated document management solutions. They wanted systems that would let them scan documents in Frankfurt and print them on demand in London, altering for American spelling. As digital technology changed, so did Xerox customers and competitors. Instead of selling copiers to equipment purchasing managers, Xerox found itself trying to develop and sell document management systems to high-level information technology managers. And instead of competing head-on with copy machine competitors such as Sharp, Canon, Ricoh, Xerox was now squaring off against information technology companies such as HP and IBM. Xerox's large and long respected sales force, made up of those guys in the toner-stained shirts trained to sell and repair copy machines, simply wasn't cutting it in the new digital environment. Increasingly, Xerox found itself occupying the dusty and dying copy machine corner of the analog machine. Since those dark days on the brink, however, Xerox had rethought, redefined and reinvented itself. The company has undergone a remarkable transformation. Xerox no longer defines itself as a copier company. In fact, it doesn't even make standalone copiers anymore. Instead, Xerox builds itself as the world's leading document management technology and services enterprise. Xerox's newly minted mission is to help companies and people be smarter about their documents. The Xerox transformation started with a new focus on the customer. Before developing new products, Xerox researchers held seemingly endless customer focus groups. Xerox Chief Technology Officer, Sophie van der Broek, calls this dreaming with the customer. The goal, she argues, is involving experts who know the technology with customers, who know the pain points. Ultimately, innovation is about delighting the customer. Xerox even employed anthropologists, ethnographers, sociologists and psychologists, what it calls work practice specialists, to spend time with customers, understand their problems and help develop customer-focused solutions. The new Xerox believes that understanding customers is just as important as understanding technology. As a result, the Xerox now offers a broad portfolio of customer-focused products, software and services that helps its customers manage documents and information. Xerox has introduced 100 innovative new products in the last 3 years. It now offers digital products and systems ranging from network printers and multifunction devices to color printing and publishing systems, digital press and book factories. It also offers an impressive array of consulting and outsourcing services that help businesses develop online document archives, operate in-house print shops or mail rooms, analyze how employees can most efficiently share documents and knowledge, and build web-based processes for personalizing direct mails, invoices and brochures. Now that Xerox has transformed its business, it's setting out to transform its image as well. Befitting its new identity, Xerox recently unveiled a new brand logo. Xerox CEO Annie Mulcahy sums this up this way: "We have transformed Xerox into a business that connects closely with customers in a content-rich digital marketplace. Our new brand reflects who we are, the markets we serve, and the innovation that differentiates us in our industry. We have expanded into new markets, created new businesses, acquired new capabilities, and developed technologies that launched new industries to ensure we make it easier, faster, less costly for our customers to share information." A major Xerox customer agrees to this. "From the outside looking in, I have watched Xerox transition its business from copier and a printer company to a true partner in helping companies better manage information, whether it's digital, paper or both. Changing the brand is the next logical step. Now, the face of Xerox matches the tech-savvy, innovative company Xerox is today." I hope you have understood the case and you have seen like how Xerox has grown from where it was to what it stands today. If your answer is yes, try to attempt these questions. What were the changes in the marketing environment of Xerox company? Map the impact of these changes on Xerox company. And the second one is, how did Xerox company respond to these changes? And the third is, what are the lessons to be drawn from Xerox responsive strategies? So having come to the end of this episode, what is it that we have learned? We have attempted to understand the relevance of marketing and non-marketing environment on business. Both marketing and non-marketing environment can influence the organization. In this context, we have discussed the strategies of scanning the marketing environment. On the basis of effective scanning, it may be possible to explore the opportunities and minimize the threats caused on the business. Thus, effective strategies are required to respond to the changes spiraled by the micro and the macro factors affecting the marketing environment. Thank you.